And hello, one and all, back here once again for my weekly review for this week's edition of NXT. We're going to take a look at everything that took place as we are currently only 5 weeks away from NXT TakeOver Toronto. So I thought last night's edition, the October 19th, 2016 edition, did a solid job of building up to the big spectacular NXT TakeOver Toronto event, which I am eagerly awaiting with anticipation. We got 2 matches in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, further build between Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger, along with Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe, a debut. All in all, I just thought this was one of the better editions of NXT in recent memory, so that's why I am here to give you my full thoughts and opinions on what we saw take place. And guys, like I say, remember, let me know what you thought of this week's edition of NXT down below in the comments section. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get into the October 19th, 2016 edition of NXT. So how do we kick off this week's edition of NXT? Well, we kicked it off with Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first round action. This was a really solid match between, I love the team of Rich Swann and No Way Jose. I just think these guys gel. They have good charisma, and they both elicit this positive, electric vibe. And you got No Way Jose, No Way Jose. I know you're singing it too. And you got Can You Handle This? Can You Handle This? God, I love that song. It's catchy, it's infectious, and I freaking love this team. Great team. I'm glad they paired these guys up, and they took on a competitive team of Tony Nese, who I'm quickly becoming a huge fan of on the Cruiserweight division on Raw, and Drew Gulak, who is he's a very good hand in the ring, very technical, precise, just no nonsense. He'll beat you down. But I thought this was a really fun, energetic opening match, especially when Rich Swann went to the outside, and he landed this it was a really nice springboard. Oh my god, it was scary, but a triangle senton, that's what it was, to the outside onto Nese, and then as a result of that, No Way Jose was able to pick up Gulak, hit the Jose bomb for the win, and really good win for these guys. Like I said, solid opening tag match, Really love the dynamic of No Way Jose and Rich Swann. Now, they're going to be up against a tough test next week in the Authors of Pain. I don't know if I see them getting out of that match with the Authors of Pain, so it might not be, that long before we see this team come to an end, but I'm going to enjoy it for the time being, even if they don't get past the Authors of Pain. It was still, I just think, these guys make a really good tag team, and I'd like to see them maybe go that route heading forward, if... we'll have to see what they plan for, Rich Swann with him being on Raw in the Cruiserweight division. But NXT-wise, I think this is something I could definitely get behind in the weeks to come. So it was a good way to kick off this week's edition of NXT. We had an interview, and Ty Dillinger, he pretty much said, I want a match against Bobby Roode after what he did to me last week on NXT. The fact that the Glorious One walked out on his partner, put an end to the short-lived tag team of Glorious 10, which was such a shame to see, because I really wanted to get behind that tag team, but that's okay. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming match between, Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger. Eventually, we had Roode versus Sean Maluda. Roode gets the victory, 1-2-3 with the DDT. Not really too much to say about the match itself, but what I liked was, after the match, Bobby gets on the mic, he talks about TakeOver Toronto, and he says Dillinger has been complaining about what happened to him. But the fact that Dillinger begged Roode to be his partner, so he doesn't have the legs to stand on, and he can never quite get up to the standard of Bobby Roode's, gloriousness, if that's even a word. Ty Dillinger storms the ring, begins charging, punching Bobby Roode, and I liked every time Ty Dillinger threw a punch, the crowd went 10, 10, 10, and when Bobby hit, they went glorious, glorious, glorious. So this is going to be a really fun match at the undercard for NXT TakeOver. 2 Canadian guys going in there, and it's going to be a big, probably Ty Dillinger's biggest match to date in NXT, so good for him. And afterwards, Bobby Roode scurried up the entrance ramp, but I really like this beatdown, this back and forth brawl, so gets me excited and hyped for their upcoming match at TakeOver. So yeah, good stuff right here. We then had a backstage interview with Liv Morgan, And eventually Billie Kay and Peyton Royce would beat down Liv Morgan, and they would drag her to the entrance ramp. They grab a mic and tell the women's division that they are putting everyone on notice, and that's including Asuka. I like this segment. It further helped to establish the partnership between Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. I could definitely see them becoming formidable names in the NXT women's division, because you're going to have to start establishing new talent, like I said. And I like what I've seen from this partnership, the aggressiveness that has come out of Billie Kay. She's really starting to come into her own. Peyton Royce, I can see her down the line. Like I said, Liv Morgan. The talent, I feel, is there. Guys, we're just going to have to be patient and give them the time to develop. But I'm certainly willing to be patient, and I look forward to the quote-unquote rebirth of the NXT women's division. It will happen. It's going to take some time, but I already see that the steps are in place. So this was a nice little beatdown from Peyton Royce and Billie Kay on NXT. We then had Austin Aries and his mystery partner, and it was revealed to have been Roderick Strong. That's right, Mr. ROH makes his long-awaited rumored debut. If you haven't heard, it was already spoiled by WWE, but that's okay. Roderick Strong made his debut, and they had a pretty solid match between Tucker Knight, who I like him. I definitely see potential in this guy. He's got the big look, the big frame, and he's very agile. He can move around very well in the ring. And his tag team partner, Otis Dogavevich, I probably botched that, but we'll just call him Otis. Ditch the last name. So yeah, solid match. Good debut for Roderick Strong. Him and Aries, of course, they've been tag team in the past, back in the Ring of Honor days, so obviously these two have the connection right there. And yeah, like I said, they advanced. They beat Otis and Tucker Knight in a solid tag team match after Strong attempted to get the gutbuster on Knight. And Strong was able to hit the ropes, and he hit Knight with the sick kick for the win. So nice finishing maneuver there. And yeah, Aries and Strong advance, and they will we'll have to see who they face in the next round of the Tag Team Classic. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to who they have lined. I'm really enjoying the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic so far, and it's really unpredictable at this point. We really, I like that. You don't really know who the odds-on favorite are to win this Tag Team Classic. I mean, there are a number of different options. Could be the Authors of Pain, could be Gargano and Ciampa, could be Ibushi and Perkins, it could be Sanity, could be Aries and Strong, excuse me, could be Dash and Dawson. There are just a number of good teams in this tournament. No Way Jose and Rich Swann. So I'm looking forward. I love the feeling of unpredictability, and really looking forward to see who makes it all the way to the finals at NXT TakeOver Toronto. That should certainly be a fun and enjoyable thing to watch. So we'll have to see, but I am certainly looking forward to seeing how the second round of the Tag Team Classic progresses. And we had a really quick match between Nikki Cross, the member of Sanity, versus Danielle Camella. Cross pretty much destroyed her. She gets the win after the three-handled Moss covered family credenza. And that's pretty much it. Afterwards, Nikki Cross just displays really odd, psychotic. This woman is clearly unhinged. That's what they're going for here. She just continues to beat down on Daniela. And eventually Eric Young will pull her off. She hits him in the face, and eventually, due to the referee's decision, he reversed the outcome of the match and awarded the win to Daniela. And I'm really intrigued. I'm really interested to see where this Sanity faction goes. I really like the dark mystique of these characters. You don't really know a lot about them. They're really unhinged and crazy, which, by the way, made me think this would be a really great stable for Dean Ambrose to lead. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, I'm really intrigued. I love the entrance. I love the theatrics about it. So this is something I could definitely get behind and see becoming one of the dominant factions here on NXT. I love the characters. So far, I love what they're doing. We don't really know a lot about them, but I do want to know more about them. So Eric Young and the other two gentlemen. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with Sanity. I definitely see big things down the line for them. And then finally we had Shinsuke Nakamura come down to the ring. He says he is not finished with Samoa Joe. Their rematch will happen at NXT TakeOver Toronto. And by the way, I hope that match gets a stipulation. And before Nakamura can finish his thoughts, Patrick Clark, of all people, would interrupt him. And I'm like, whoa, what is this guy thinking? He's going to get freaking killed out there. Nakamura's going to kick his fucking head off. And that's exactly what happened. Clark says, we actually botched, he said. For the first time, we were going to see Samoa Joe and Nakamura fight each other, and then he was like, oh, wait a minute, I fucked up pretty much. That already happened. He gets in the ring, Nakamura kicks him in the gut. Eventually, Joe walks down to the ramp. Looks like he might attack Nakamura, but Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on Clark, nearly takes the man's head off, and that's how we go off the air for this week's edition of NXT. So, yeah. Also, I have to throw in the mention there was a nice little sit-down backstage interview, quick interview with Andreas San Almas, pretty much explain why he did what he did, turning heel on his tag team partner Cedric Alexander. So I like the direction that they're going in with him. He said he felt he was disrespected by the crowd after he took off his mask, and he just got tired and frustrated of being shown no respect whatsoever. So I like what they're doing with him. I thought this was one of the better editions of NXT in the last couple of weeks. That's why I'm giving this week's edition of NXT a B+, guys. B+, as we continue on the road to NXT TakeOver Toronto. So that's my full thoughts and opinions, guys, on this week's edition of NXT. Like I said, let me know down in the comment section below what you all thought of NXT. What did you like? What didn't you like? And be sure to click that like and subscribe button to help continue to grow this channel. Thank you for all the support, guys. Without you, this channel wouldn't be where it's at today. So thank you for helping contribute to that. So that concludes it, guys, with my NXT video review. And I will see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care.